Hi, today we're going to be doing this nail. I'm calling this the Pomegranate Jewel Nail because it just has such luscious jewel tones in it. And I wanted to do this tutorial because this has a slightly different base than all of the other bubble nails I've done. This has a red holographic foil base, and that is what is giving us this super rich, almost glowing feeling from the nail. So let's get started and we'll do the first step, which is making our bubbles. I just call this my improved bubble recipe. It is equal parts vegetable glycerin and liquid dish soap and that's just mixed together in that little container. That's nothing special. I just do it so I have it pre-mixed. So in a 2-cup container, I'm going to have about 2/3 to 1 cup of water. I'm going to have 1 to 2 teaspoons each of vegetable glycerin and liquid dish soap. And then I'm going to whip it up with a fan brush because that is also going to help me get bigger bubbles. The only reason we put the glycerin in there, it is an ingredient in professional, yes, that's a thing, professional bubble making formulas. It is a stabilizer so the bubbles last longer. So we can set these aside and we can kind of let the water drain so you get drier bubbles and that sticks to the nail easier. And it also helps with larger bubble formation, and that helps us get more interesting patterns with the bubbles, which helps with this type of bubble nail. The fan brush also makes it super easy to apply to the nail because that's the other thing that can be super finicky with doing this type of thing. And someone in the comments had said they used a huge straw to do it. So I had one and tried it. It almost made bubbles that were too huge, but it was interesting. And it's still, I could pop some of them and it did make a nice, interesting variety of shapes and sizes of bubbles. So you can also do that. And if you end up mixing it up too much and then you're getting lots of tiny bubbles, you can just scoop them out and do it over again. There's nothing exact about this. You might find you need to add a little more soap or maybe you need some more water, just kind of mess around with it and see what works. All right, once you're happy with how your bubbles are looking, we're going to set that aside and then we are never going to refluff them again. We want the water to kind of drain while we're doing the first steps on the nail. Okay, the nail. This is a very cool set of like 50 sheets of different holographic, very colorful nail foils that are from Amazon. I will have everything linked under the name of this tutorial in my Amazon storefront. It's like a laser metallic broken glass starry sky set. It's like, it always has a million names. And we are going to use the plain, I say plain, but it's very amazing looking red. We are going to do a quick base coat just so it's not going over a clear nail. This is number 4 from the Born Pretty Sunset Jewel Ice Jelly set. It's a 6-color set. We cure that for 60 seconds, and now we are moving on to our foil tack glue. I'm going to use the one from Kokoist, and I'm going to show the first one I did because I didn't realize that my lamp was set on 30 seconds, and I'll show you what happens. It was still gooey. I couldn't figure out what was going on. So it is very important to actually cure these foil glues for 60 seconds. Right there, it's like gum stuck to your shoe. So I didn't realize that's what I had done at first. So the foil is sticking, but not in really, the way you want it to. It just looks like smeary glitter chunks that we've put on it instead of this nice foil. So yeah, we're going to redo that. But I just wanted to show you what it looks like if you screw it up. And at the end, it still is giving us a nice red base, but you'll see in a second what it should be looking like. So let's do it the proper way. So I've redone the nail, put the nail foil glue back on, did 60 seconds, and I'm making sure I'm scratching with my nail gently all over. And look at that. Look how well that stuck to that. And look at that holographic effect. It's so amazing looking. It's like fire. And it does not matter which direction you put the nail onto that sheet of foil. It will still do this very cool vertical fiery line thing through it. And there you go. You can see the difference between the gross one. It's a suitable background, but you're not getting that super cool, weird holographic effect as much. I love that. It's amazing looking. Next step is to do a base coat over that. So if we mess anything up, we don't end up wiping the foil off. I love the Kokoist Mega Stick base. It's the only thing that sticks to my fingernails well. But if you're using something expensive like that, especially, you probably want to put it on a little sheet of paper because there will be little bits of foil that come off of here, which I forgot about. So I had to wipe that brush clean. Okay, this is the layer that will get the bubbles. This is Kokoist Nero Black Glass. It is a super transparent, warm black. It's not cloudy at all. It's a really glassy color, hence the black glass name. But it's very hard to find blacks like this. You may have to buy that directly from Kokoist. I do not think Nail Mart has that exact color. I'll have to check to be sure. So we're just doing a nice medium coat on here. And there will be a difference if you do a very light coat, a medium coat, or a heavy coat, and what your bubble layer is going to look like. And since this stuff is thicker and now it's fall and a little cooler out, I kind of had to refigure out the amount, how thick of a layer I wanted this on there. So you'll see I do a couple versions of it to show you. We are not curing this. And you can look how transparent that black is. That's amazing. So we are getting out our bubbles and we are putting the bubbles on the wet polish. And we are not refluffing these. We don't want to get more water up into the bubbles. So we're taking that fan brush, and the bubbles really like sticking to those bristles. That's why it makes it really easy to load it up with enough bubbles and then just lightly smear those on, you know, like you're icing a cake. And you do want to cure it fairly quickly because the bubbles will start popping. And this is what I have after it is cured. We've got some nice cell formation, and I like to just clean it off with some alcohol, and I just kind of like to rub it in with my glove because we've got so many sharp little pointy things from the cell matrix that it's just going to catch on a cloth and just cause more problems. Okay, this is what I want to show you. This is the difference in the thickness of the Nero Black Glass polish. That one on the right is the first one I did, and I ended up with too thin of a coat because the polish, it's less viscous right now because of the cooler temperatures. So it stays thicker and it's not moving as much up into the bubbles. So that's how I had to adjust. So then I went back and did these two others and got better, thicker cell matrix kind of sucking up into the bubbles. So we got better cell walls to work with to put our other cat eye polishes in. Normally on these nails as well, I would be filing this back and cleaning these up a little, but that Kokoist black polish is thicker and it doesn't really do that as much. So I did not have to do that on this nail. So we're going straight to filling in all of the cells with the nice pretty cat eyes. The first one I'm using is the Double Rhythm MC 1072, the Ice Glass Purple Red. And this is a really nice, rich, intense, hot pink, but the particles also have some silver in them. So that is what I swoop along the bottom to have some silver sparkle in there. And then I will do a few more sprinkles of cells elsewhere on the nail with this. And that's pretty much it for this color. And like with all of these bubble nails, I am going to flash cure each little section as I go so that we can get all of the different cat eye effects in the nail. Okay, the next main pink polish is the Born Pretty Dragon Fruit Glass Cat Eye. Things on Amazon sometimes have multiple names and it makes it very hard to search for them. That's why it's just easier when I compile the list, go there and you can just click on the polish. I'm not saying you have to buy it through there, but it is much easier than searching sometimes. Even when I'm trying to compile these lists for these tutorials on Amazon, I can't find the products and I have to do 6 different searches because they've changed the search parameters for it. Anyway, okay, with this color, I'm still doing swaths of areas. I'm not doing just single cells for the most part because I just want some pink to get in there. Now, after this one, we're going to start then doing more of the accent colors. So this is a Kokoist. This color is absolutely gorgeous. I just recently got this. I've been eyeing it for a while. I don't really like a lot of reds. This red wine, what is it? It's VM38 red wine in their Velvet Mag collection. It's gorgeous looking. So, but on this nail, I'm just doing some cells here and there for accents because it's a really nice I guess more in this winey burgundy range of reds, but has an orange flash to the magnetic particles. So it's a really good accent color in the nail. So now at this point, I am going to just get some of my various nice, rich pinks and reds and orange reds to just do the single cell accents on the nail. And so I'm just going to put them on my little palette here so that I can use my tiny brush and sprinkle these different colors throughout the nail. And I just want to do each of them at least a couple times in the nail and just kind of make it random and sprinkle just to get some nice accents. And so you don't have to use any of these exact colors, but you just want this kind of range of colors. We're looking for burnty, orange, peachy reds and pinks and burgundy wine kind of colors so that we get these nice flashes in the nail. And again, all of these will be listed in the description. Just click on it so that more of it pops up. And another thing to note is I'm not filling every single cell with these colors. We do want to leave some so that the background red foil shows through. So these are all just accent colors, and I'll show you kind of what I have at the end here as well. So I'm just going to go through here and just sprinkle around what I think looks nice. And you can always, fix a mistake by going over it. You can go in with some silver cateye and even go in back with that plain jelly burgundy to get the colors to match better with the nail. So there's a lot of leeway with what you do with this. And we're not as worried about being nice about the edges of basically the cells that we're painting in, because we are going to go back and gently file this after we cure it to re-expose some of those black cell matrix, that design and pattern in here. And here's what mine is looking like towards the end, so you can get an idea. And this is also a little bit of trust the process, because it's going to look just kind of blurry, smeary, because you've covered up a lot of the black lines, but we will get it back. After you have fully cured that, we are now going to go in with a file, and we are going to gently file back to get down to our black cell matrix. And just depending on the thickness of everything you've done, it might just be a tiny bit of filing. You might need to do a little more filing if you did a thick swoop of one of those pinks along. Like I kind of did that on the bottom. I had to file more back than I thought. And it's also helpful to periodically clean it with rubbing alcohol, because it wets the nail and you will be able to see what you're doing. It'll make it look like the finished nail for a couple seconds. So it's super helpful to know when to stop, because you can overfile this. So you just want to take it slow. And I always use a pretty soft 180 or a 240 for this. And that's it. Once you're happy with how this looks, you clean it, and then we just top coat it, and the nail is done. These are my two favorite top coats right now: the Kokoist Ultra Glossy and the Zombie Top Gel. I'm almost liking the Zombie better right now. I'm still kind of testing it out to see the wear and tear of it, but those are both fairly expensive. So for tutorial nails, if you want a cheapy option, this is Double Rhythm's top coat, and this is a thicker viscosity than a lot of them on Amazon, which is nice. And these guys actually do have SDS sheets with their stuff, so it kind of seems like one of the better brands you can get on Amazon. If you want a super sleek surface on this nail, you may have to do the first layer top coat, file it back a bit, and do a second coat. But that's it. That's our nail. And you can see that's the one on the right is the one that hardly had any of the black. It had the super light coating. And then the one on the right is the second one I did. And the one on the right is still cool. We get more of that holographic weird striping red effect through it. So there's no one right or wrong way to do it. You're just going to get slightly different looks. And the one I just added in is the original nail from this summer, basically. And I'm finally doing the tutorial. But this is a great one for fall because it just has such rich jewel tones. And the foil, I don't know, there's just something about the foil as the base that just gives this a huge amount of depth and just gives it something extra, some extra sparkle. I don't know. I just love it. And look at just all those pebbly reflections. So there you have it. The pomegranate jewel nail.